big news. Teddy wants a new deal at the Roosters. Look, I don't know how long he's looking for. He deserves it, but whether Uncle Nick agrees with that or not. But this is an interesting one because Teddy's the hero. He's one of the best players at the club. He's ultra consistent, ultra reliable. Any club would want him, and he wants to be a Rooster for life. How do we see this panning out?
Yeah, it's an interesting one. Obviously, he's got 12 months left on his current contract, and I don't think he's going to be able to command a 2 or 3 year deal at the Roosters. I think if I'm the Roosters, I'll be trying to extend him out for 12 months and then playing it year by year at this stage with James Tedesco because he's still...
1 year deal?
Well, it's 2 more years, Braith. So he's got 12 months left on his current contract, and then you can have that conversation this time next year as well and go again. So it's not a matter of going year by year in that sense because you're doing it 2 years ahead. So
I don't disagree with you. It reminds me of Adam Reynolds at the Bunnies, you know.
It could potentially.
And not that it's a bad thing, and not that I would think that they shouldn't do that. I tend to think it's a good idea as well, but the player doesn't always, you know. And this is where it could get tricky. Is if Teddy goes, no, I want security, I deserve it. The player that I am, that's where it gets.
But then you look at people like Joey Manu that's leaving, Joey Swali'i, and then they're probably leaving because they want to play number 1. So there's the balance in, you know, he's a legend. He's going to go down as one of the greatest ever Roosters. You know, do you hold him too long and then lose one of those other guys?
Well, they already have, Gordy. You raise a great point because it's cost them Joseph Suaalii, and Joseph Manu will go over and have a cameo in Japanese rugby. I think he comes back, Joseph Manu, most likely in the middle of next season. But in relation to Teddy, if they go on a run and they win the premiership and he's in the form that he's in now, I think he earns an additional season. But to your point, Braith, if he does decide...
Is he there next year?
Yes, he's there next year, right? And he's the captain of the club. But if he
I'll play devil's advocate. The way he plays, he's always on the ball. He's running so many metres. There's going to be a day where he falls off the cliff, and you just lose your legs and you lose your speed. A bit like Clint Gutherson. Like, he's been so good for Parramatta. You watched him the other night, and Tristan Sailor just went around, and it's not because they just burn out. Like, they just burn out because of how they've played.
So if you're Nick Politis, then you're not offering him a long deal. You're just giving him the extra year.
I would show him respect and say, can we talk halfway through next year and see how you're feeling as well?
I like that. I like that play. But at the same time, where it could...
Will he like it, though?
This is the point I was about to make. Where it could get interesting is struggling clubs would look at a James Tedesco, everything he's achieved in the game, the fact that he's a leader, and they might think that, you know what, we could actually really utilise his services. Well, this is what I mean. So if someone comes in and decides, like, the Roosters won't be... He's the Roosters' best paid player at the moment. I don't think he will be beyond that.
Who could come in?
Oh, mate.
I know it's a bit of a speculation, but...
Well, the Tigers did previously. They've obviously got a fullback now in Jureen Buller, so they won't be. But when Benji first got the job,
the Raiders
he did reach out to James Tedesco, and they were keen for a homecoming.
Well, you mentioned the Dragons and Clint Gutherson. It's another likely landing spot. If he hit the open market, he's the perfect player for what Shane... And they'd give him $1 million for over 3 years for sure.
I know it's a spicy conversation, but I don't see him leaving. He's got a great relationship with Nick, and Nick always finds a way with his players, you know. I think that Teddy would take that 1 year and be happy with it.
Did Anthony Minicello move to the wing?
He did, yeah.
Yeah, I mean, like...
Yes, towards the end.
Yeah, you can keep him around and, you know, like... And then that will be the deal.
All right.
I'm with you, brother. I find it hard to see Teddy in any other colours.
But temptation could be there, you never know.
Blue.
Yeah, interesting. All right, now, Hoops, what's the plan with Volandis and is it the player agents? Is it
Yeah, this is interesting. So, obviously, we've spoken on this show a hell of a lot about the fact that player agents look after players, and then a lot of them also look after coaches. In the case of Isaac Moses, I think he might have up to half a dozen coaches that he negotiates their affairs for, who will be in head coaching positions next season. But the NRL are undergoing a big review, and in all likelihood they could bring in some sweeping reform and change, which will mean that no more can agents manage the affairs of players and also manage the affairs of coaches. So you'll need to just be one or the other, but there will be a clear divide.
I think that's a good thing. We've been talking about this for a while, and you know, it does get a bit tricky there. I think when agents have got too many coaches at too many clubs and players in those clubs, that it is a tricky one. How do you guys? Are you guys okay with this?
I think it's about time. I just think the clubs will probably be clapping their hands because then they know that they can make a decision on the coach without getting players upset.
Will the agents fight it, do you know?
Well, the optics of it have never looked great, and it's obviously there's some politics involved in it. I think Peter V'landys is smart the way that he's trying to approach it. He's gone to a lot of the senior agents and spoken to them. He said, I want to work with you guys and I want to help improve your image. Is that what you'd like to do as well? They've said yes. So everybody's on the same page. It's just a matter of actually implementing it. And where they got to be careful is it can't just be a little bit of a paper shuffle where, okay, well, he's not looking after coaches anymore, but now his cousin or his uncle or his brother or his mate is. It's got to be fair dinkum.
Everyone's under the same banner.
They will have to put some serious parameters to ensure that it is well policed.
It's going to be interesting because not many agents would just go and represent coaches, and then they can't, and they sort of isolate themselves from the players. So agents now will have to make a call whether they manage coaches or they manage the players. So there'll probably be specialist agents for coaches now.
Well, they have to be because there's obviously a lot more players than there are coaches. So I don't know if there'd be too many agents willing to sacrifice their playing group to look after
Do
coaches.
coaches necessarily need agents? I mean, coaches are negotiating with players and CEOs and people from all walks of life every single day. In my opinion, I'm not sure coaches need
I
agents.
used to think no, but now that I do represent a coach, I've got Willie Peters over in the Super League, but especially if you're dealing with Super League and the NRL and you've got a few things going on, it's hard for the actual coach to do it when they're so busy as well. I mean, there's a lot of moving parts that go with it. I think they probably could, but it's not as simple as what people think.
Okay.
Yeah, so it's an interesting one. So watch this space.